welcome along and welcome to the 5th video in our series on the precision farming DLC. Today we're going to have a look at the harvest and economy parts of the DLC, which of course is the final stage. Now there were a couple of questions that came up from the last video. The first one was, do the nitrogen levels drop as crop is growing? And if we have a look in here and have a look at our precision farming map, you can see in here that neither the pH levels here, we'll get to these strips at the in a minute because I have harvested a little bit to show you guys already, but yeah, the pH levels haven't dropped at all as the crop has grown, and neither has the nitrogen level. Again, this strip here, this is area that has been harvested versus the area that has not, and you can see that as the crop has grown there has been no drop in the nitrogen levels at all. And also along these lines, the areas that I've cut, so I did cut 2 strips. What I did was I cut one strip with the swath and one with us shredding the straw, and then I cultivated both of them. And having a look at it, there is no advantage to cultivating or doing a straw swath and cultivating in versus doing a normal area and shredding the straw. It doesn't add any extra nitrogen into the land. It just is it is the level that you were when you harvested. So yeah, there's no advantage to that. So if you are looking to bale your straw, otherwise shred it. It will make no difference to your crop. I kind of wish it did. It would be quite nice if it did, but definitely those levels haven't increased. So it's not even a case that we haven't baled up the straw and therefore it's put the same level back in. It really is that it makes no difference whatsoever. So we're going to have a look at the yield now. So this is the big change to doing harvesting. If we turn our combine on and head towards the field, you'll see the mini map down the bottom left hand change as we start to harvest. Again, it zooms in and you start getting real-time information updating, and you can see the level of the harvest and the yield of the harvest as you're doing the cut. And this is really cool. This shows you exactly how well every part of your field is doing. And once we've got another couple of strips done, what we'll do is we'll go and have a look at this in the menu and see how it does. But it's really good that it shows you exactly how you're doing, and also the different types of land that you have in here and the effects that they're having. You can see as we're going up the field, the yield is beginning to drop, and we know that the sandy loam at the top of the field is does a lot worse with the yield for wheat, and to nobody's surprise, that level is dropping as it comes to this end, and it's going into the yellow. But we are getting a nice amount of crop up off here, and it is yielding quite nicely. So we'll get one more row of this off here, and then we can go and have a look. We'll unload the combine because we are 75%, and our yield, how much we're getting off the field, is actually increasing as we go up it, because the sandy loam, or the loamy sand, those two really do throw me off. The loamy sand, that is being the worst, but it's also only across that corner. So the vast majority of our field is the sandy loam that is just doing so much better for us and producing a better yield. And then right at the bottom of the field we have this swath of loam soil, which is just producing a really high output, and you can see that down the bottom there. We did have a small area that produced a lower yield, but for the most part, the bottom area of this field is producing a very, very nice amount. So let's put the auger out. And what we can do now is, oh yeah, just at the end of the field, we ran out of space in our combine. So we won't worry about that. And while this is emptying, if we can get it over the trailer, there we go. That will take 2 loads. We can pop into the main menu and have a look. So we have a look in here, and you can see here where we had a little bit of a hiccup with our combine. We had a big drop in nitrogen, and my guess is that that spot there, we actually hadn't fertilized it fully. And as a result, that is why when we come over to this yield here, that's why we have a drop. Even on this loamy field, in fact, this sandy loam here, yeah, you can see the drop in yield. And it could be, it's very, very possible, that is because we cultivated that section there up to about there. And it just clipped it enough to drop the nitrogen level. And yeah, just wasn't quite good enough. So there are some little ifs and buts, and that's a little bit of an odd thing with me cultivating that section. So I think it was it's just that drop in nitrogen there has been a little bit heavy, but otherwise you can see the effect it has. And taking a harvest really does drop the level of nitrogen, which isn't surprising at all. The one thing I have heard is this doesn't happen so much with soybeans. Soybeans put nitrogen back into the soil. So that is where crop rotation comes in, and I might do another video based on that and having a look at looking at the individual crops. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments below, and we can have a look at that if you would like. Now, looking here, what we've also got is our harvest levels. So as I've said, we've got various harvest levels here, and you can see how these match up with our different soils, where we've got that loamy sand going up the top there, and we've got the loam going across the bottom there. We've then got the really good harvest going across there, and the loamy sand going up here. Now, something I have discovered since my first video is that different crops have different effects. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this header off here. We will come back to it in a minute, and we're going to go and hook ourselves up to the sunflower header and have a look there. Now, if you remember the sunflower header, the sunflowers, those had a lower requirement for the amount of nitrogen we needed to add to the field, and in some places we actually ended up with more nitrogen than we needed. So let's pop this header on here, start our combine up, and we'll take a couple of rows out of these sunflowers. And again, as we come onto the field, it zooms in and begins to show us something. Actually, I do need to note later on is that I was wrong about this area. When we extended this field, it originally said 0.7 for the area on this field. It is not. It is a 0.9 field now. So, and that's the bump there where we missed a bit. But yeah, it now has taken the extra field area into account. So it's not the full area that it has, but it is instead the actual size of workable field on here. So I will show you that in a minute when we go through the economy bit. But while I'm remembering it here, that's worth noting. And you can see here with the sunflowers, again, on that loamy sand, we have a drop in the overall output. With at the top of the field, we have an even lower amount. But I think that is more due, yeah, that bit right at the top, I think that's more due to not activating the fertilizer early enough. But again, we've got this nice ongoing update to the yield size, and it's showing us how well every inch of our field is doing for us, and the difference it has been to add in actually that bit at the bottom of the field is going to make our field more profitable. And sometimes if you see an area where you've got some better land, I would have actually said the thing to do on this field, I think, is probably either extend it down like this, as we have, and that is great, you know, to give yourself a bit of extra field space, or to go and actually just plant grass at the top end of that field. Would make a lot of sense. So if we have a look at this now, you can see here our different levels. So here where we've got, again, the loamy sand going up through the swath of the field there, we've got this drop. Oh, no, we've got this drop in yield following that line. So again, sunflowers do not do so well in that loamy sand. And yeah, just, you will get a drop. So that's what I was saying. You could turn that much of this field into grass and make less of a difference. So the next thing I want to show you is, now that we've got yield and we've got some information from these two fields, if we click on the field, we showed this in the first video, this is the economic analysis. And what you have is you have two areas for it. You've got the value since last reset. So if you want to discover the value for a particular harvest, you can click the reset down the bottom and then see from the beginning to the end, from when you start putting stuff in to the end, you can see the total you make out of it. Or you've got this total values one, which will show you everything since the very first time you've worked the field. They're the same at the moment because we are on the first year. And you can see here how many soil samples you've taken on the field, how much lime you've spread on the field, how much mineral fertilizer, how much liquid fertilizer, how much manure you've put on the field. And manure has no cost to it because there's no way to buy it at the moment. It'd be interesting actually to see the manure with the manure mod where you spend money on that, whether that would actually add something into there. But yeah, manure and slurry at the moment have no cost to them. Cost of your seeds, cost of the fuel for every piece of equipment you've used on that field. Vehicle maintenance, so the cost that it will be to maintain your vehicles on it, and the AI helper, because I have used a couple of AI helpers on there, so that has cost me a bit. The yield has already, so just for these 4 strips, have produced 7,258 pounds for it, and you can see we've got an overall yield increase of 4%, which is pretty good considering that area there has dropped down to about 85% yield. The middle of the field, that is at 100%, and then we've got this boost at the top. So overall we're pretty good. So we've got our total cost there for 4,000, our total earnings for 7,000, and we can see that what we've done so far has been profitable. Now field 20, this is the interesting one. We know that when we looked at this field in our first video and we extended it to see what difference that would make, it was a 0.7 acre field. It is now a 0.98 acre field. So that little area that we added at the bottom has now been incorporated into it, and you can see here the difference that this lower yield is making to us. We took 6 soil samples on it. We had 491 pound of lime, only 3 pound of mineral fertilizer, because with the sunflowers it didn't cost us anything to actually put any fertilizer down. We put all of 2 litres. Manure on it, we put a fair amount of manure on there. 260 pounds worth of seeds, 8 pound of fuel. We spent very little actually getting this field set up. Vehicle maintenance has been 240, and AI helper has been 636. So it's cost us 2,120 to get the field to this point. So far, we have harvested. It's been 2,239 pound to do this field so far. So far, we have yielded 2.120 sorry, £2,120, which actually is a 1% increase in the yield. So that's not too bad considering we've had this area down here that has been a little bit bad for us. But we're minus 119, having only done 2 strips. So we're looking at being profitable on this field as well. And I really love this. I love that you're able to get down into this nitty-gritty area of how profitable each field is for you. It really, it's really good. Absolutely love it. We have got an extra button here where we can clear the yield. So you click that and it will clear the yield on there. I'm guessing that will no, that won't affect that because that is to date. So that is since the last reset. So that won't reset along with that. But in general, that is really cool. And I like that a lot. There is a huge amount of information on this. And that really covers the yield and economic side of things. It is an absolutely astounding DLC, this. It adds realism massively to the game. I am absolutely loving playing this, and we are going to continue to play with this in my videos and my live streams. If you want to join me for those daily videos here on the channel, on the YouTube channel, and if you want to see me do it live, head over to Twitch, twitch.tv/virtualfarmer, where you can come and join me live on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Until then, though, all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.